to Faith Family Slay. Today we are giving sleigh vibes straight from the kitchen, quarantine style. So we're going to be making a red wig today out of this Brazilian straight hair from my collection, along with this 16-inch closure. We have our bucket here to do some watercolor, and we have our colors. So keep watching. Okay guys, so I tried to put the water in the bucket already and it burnt my hand, so I had to get me a towel. So I would highly suggest you having a towel nearby just in case whatever you're using to pour the water over in is too hot. So I'm using Adorn color today in the color Crimson. This client really wanted a really bright, vibrant color, which is why we went with the 613 here, so we didn't have to do all that lightening process and all of that. This just really helps the process out. So what you want to do is get your hot water, and I start with 1 bundle to 1 bottle of color at a time, and I mix that in. So sometimes you'll see people have a strip of the bundle that they have cut off to test it, or like a piece of paper, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to go ahead and dip the bottom of the bundles into the water to see how the color is coming out. And thankfully this came out to the color that I wanted, so I just went ahead and started dipping the hair in slowly and just working my way up until I finally just went ahead and laid all of the hair down into the color. And I just pressed it all in so that the bundle could soak all that color up that is within the water. And then I just occasionally would pick it back up, because sometimes if the hair is not spread apart very well, you will of course miss spots, and that is not what we want. We want very, very even color. And like I said, I try to do 1 bottle to 1 bundle, but I'm going to show you what happens if you are doing it this way and you decide to not add more color in, or you try to rush the process. You are going to get a very faint color on your bundles. As you can see, 1 is red and 1 is pink. So that is what happened if you try to rush or don't properly do the process. So I went back and I added in my 2nd bottle of color that I had, and I mixed it in, which my water was still warm, so I didn't have to add any more in, which I did have extra to the side, but I didn't need to do that. I went ahead and added some more in and mixed it up just as I did the first time, and then I freshened up those bundles, and then I moved on to my closure. So usually when you're coloring your closure, you want to use some type of protectant on the back of the closure so that it is not going to completely color your lace. Unfortunately, I left my Got to Be Holding spray at my salon, but I did take some Vaseline that I had upstairs and I rubbed it across the back of that closure just to give it some layer of protection, and that ended up working out for me in the end. And with the closure, I ended up letting it set in the water for about 5 to 10 minutes before I took it out, and the color grabbed perfectly. I also did not have gloves, so I ended up with some pink fingers, but that's okay. So after that, I conditioned my bundles and went ahead and blow dried them and got them ready for the wig prep, and this is the color that we came out with. So next, this part is going to be sped up a little bit because this is not really a wig making tutorial, but I went ahead and I used my T-pins to get my closure in place the way that I wanted, and I did really, really close single stitchings all the way around the closure because we are going to be cutting up under there later. So we need these stitches to be super tight so that when we make that cut, nothing spreads apart. So I have 3 bundles of, I think it's 226, 124, and then the closure is a 16-inch. But I did not double anything. I did all of my stitching single. And this is a mesh dome cap that I'm using, and I will be doing a flip over method. I try not to cut the wefts at any point. The only point that I definitely cut the weft is my very last track that I do around the closure, because I need those to be extremely seamless at the top. So I do the fold over method throughout this sewing process, and I just continue to sew as if I would be doing this pattern as a regular sew-in. I'm just used to knowing what patterns I go. And if you can see, I left a little space between the first track and the track over that because it allows it to lay much flatter when I don't take it to the edge every single time. As you can see, it is very, very seamless. Once I finish sewing all the way to the top, I just part my closure in the direction that I want it to go and just part it that way. And then I go forth in my flat ironing process. We are not doing any curls or anything today. My client is very simple. She don't want anything too much. She want to be able to manage it at home. So we just gonna flat iron it straight. No baby hairs or anything like that will be added. And this is our final product that we have. I will be adding some lace tint onto this later on. And that is it. Hope you guys enjoy. Please stay tuned for the scripture reading.